they would justify it by start talking verses out of the Bible, like that was what justified them to get on and start spreading hateful messages because it's written in the Bible, you know. Um, so that's when I finally backed away from the Praetorian for a while because I was finally sick and tired of it. It it was really really a disgusting um, thing that I had gone through. And the more you start researching this stuff and finding out the information, the worse it gets. Okay, um, so just to make it clear on that, you know what I mean. This stuff is not the best of information. To be honest with you, this is the stuff that you hear about that just curls your stomach. I mean, there's nothing good about it at all. So um, I'm pulling everything up. I got all my information that I pulled together, and like I said, the links are posted in the chats. If you guys want to come in and you want to talk about this stuff, then you are more than welcome. Like, this is the first episode. This isn't going to be a run on either. Like, I'm just going to do this episode for this topic, and later when I come back, I'll have another topic. Untethered is going to be about, well, stuff like this. It's going to be about controversial stuff. It might have some stuff to do with UFOs and, you know, the paranormal, things of that nature as well. But we're also going to have topics about entertainment, current events that don't have to particularly have anything to do with politics. So it's going to be a variety of things that we're going to be talking about. One thing I do want to actually get involved in is I want to talk about P. Diddy and this freaking baby oil shit. Like, that is something that really is the biggest mystery to me. You know, they were talking about Costco's, and Costco's. He had a receipt, I guess, from Costco saying that he had bought all of this baby oil from them. Well, a few people that were on the internet went in and they freaking did research, and they found out that Costco's has never sold baby oil. They've never put it on their freaking on their counters. So my first question is, where the hell did he get the baby oil? You know what I mean? That's a mystery to me. So that's something that I would actually like to figure out too. So maybe we'll have an episode where we talk about P Diddy, and we can get into some of the strange things that actually is going on when it comes to him and his case. You know what I mean? So now understand too that I have done quite a bit of research when it comes to ball. This goes back to a lot of the older stuff that I had when I first started doing all this stuff, and it's not pretty, like I said earlier. So a lot of it I did forget, and I had to go back through and pull up the information because, like I said, I walked away from a lot of this a long time ago. So um, it was something that I really wasn't wasn't wanting to get into when it comes to these topics. But I figured, why not? Let's go ahead and do this. So first of all, what I want to do is I want to clear up one um, thing that concerns uh, Moloch. Everybody's always trying to connect Moloch with Carthage. No matter where you go on the internet and you try to find the information, they always come up with these feeble attempts at trying to connect Moloch with sacrificial areas that were located in, in and around the the Levant, which is the area where Israel's at. Now, they have found evidence there that shows there may have been a type of sacrifice, human sacrifice that took place. What they found there is they found babies or fetuses that were in jars. Now, up on the background here, where you see all of those little baby jars right there, that is a topet. Okay, that's a topet. That is what they are referring to. These are the actual topets that were um, being used for these babies that were supposed to be offered to this evil deity known as Moloch, with his arms stretched out and fire spilling from his mouth, which, by the way, nobody has ever found evidence to have ever existed. They said, well, the Jews hated the worship of it so bad that they decimated it. And I've mentioned this in previous episodes that that shouldn't actually be an issue. If you pay attention to these archaeologists when they go out to a work site, they use little bitty freaking brushes so that they can move each inch of dirt. They don't only go and they don't only pull up like full vases, fully formed vases. They pull up the little fragments of vases that are found in the dirt, and they methodically sift through it so they can find each piece. So, if these statues that are depicted or being pushed did exist, they would have been found. Okay, it doesn't matter how bad they were broken up or destroyed; they would have been found. It's like with these tofets right here. Okay, they can tell you that there are signs of burning on the bases that were there. Now, the thing about it is they know that there has been burning when it comes to this, but they don't know for sure if the babies were alive or dead. These could have been stillborn babies. These could have been babies that had already died and they were used and as an offering. They could have been a lot of different things. There's no evidence that these babies were actually alive when they were being used in this manner. And that is something that a lot of people need to understand when it comes to this. And this, okay, what you're looking at is actually something that has an inscription on it. It's MLK, which isn't the same Moloch as what's in the Levant. What you're looking at here is a topeth from Carthage, okay? They haven't found any kind of topeth whatsoever or topet in the Levant at all. None of this. They found the bases, but they've never found the actual topet for these rituals, and that's also what a lot of scholars are discussing. They're discussing, was this MLK a ritual or it was an actual deity? Now, usually when, especially in the Bible, when they discuss deities, they specifically say, okay, the deity. And they go right into detail about it. With Moloch, the way that Moloch is written in these scriptures is very vague. It's hard to tell if it's actually just a ritual or if it's a deity that's a part, of an actual religion. There's been no altars or anything that specifically worships Moloch. Okay, it's just mentioned, and that's another interesting thing that comes into play. Now, with um, the Topet in Carthage, okay, this goes back to what I was originally talking about. They tried to link all of these archaeological finds that they have found to Carthage. Okay, now the thing about this is Carthage has absolutely nothing to do with the people of the Levant, other than the fact that it's the homeland of the Phoenicians. Okay, that's their homeland, north of them. And there, in that area, they haven't found any topits whatsoever. It's just in northern Africa and the western Mediterranean. Okay, so that is something that really stands out to me. Okay, that's something that I wasn't really aware of until I started doing my recent research of everything. So in reality, what happened is this type of ritual that was taking place actually happened in North Africa and the Western Mediterranean, which is all a part of Crete. It's a part of Carthage. It's a part of Spain. Then it also has Rome, or what would eventually become Rome. Um, Now, the Greeks and the Phoenicians didn't get along whatsoever. There was a lot of, well, there was wars, the Punic Wars, and everything that took place. But with all of that being said, the whole point of it is this ritual was taking place in the area of the same people who eventually started accusing the Jews of doing the same thing that they themselves were doing. Okay, and that's something that really stuck out to me. The same people who made these accusations later on in history are the same ones who actually did the rituals, and I didn't understand why until here recently. Okay, now before white supremacists who were anti-Semitic um, started falsely accusing Jews of murdering Christians. Okay, in order to use their blood in, in the performance of like religious rituals, which that's what they did in the blood libels. Before they started doing that, that was what the old uh, religious groups like the Jews were doing when they were talking um, about the Romans and people that were outside of their faith. Okay, um, well that was actually ended, but it was dismissed. Okay, all these accusations were dismissed about Christian communities and the Roman Empire doing these things, as well as the Canaanites and a lot of the other religions the, that were around in that time. Those were actually dismissed because, well, it just came to an end. But then it reappeared again back in the medieval period, okay, where Christians began to slander the Jews. Okay, and then when they started slandering the Jews, they started using Moloch and these rituals